新平君、負荷が足らんかったらどっちゃいますか。不死は死んだ。
Most anime villains wait for the plot. These guys, they are the plot. After the war zone in the comments of Volume 1, it's time to bring back the monsters who defined the word flex the second they appeared. Welcome to Volume 2. A titan with intelligence, curiosity, and cruelty was infinitely worse than a hungry one. He examined maneuver gear with curiosity, then calmly ordered nearby titans to attack, marking the first time we saw a titan command others. Watching him casually command the battlefield made me realize humanity wasn't fighting nature anymore. We were fighting a god who viewed us as insects.
俺はガロー。さっさと全員かかってこいよ。そのために来たんだ。俺は臆病者には罰を。皆殺しパーティーだ。ちゃんと信念込めて殴ったのかおっさん。強えやつは強えんだよ。バーカ。今日は宣戦布告ってことで。ではまた。
The Hero Association gathers the worst criminals in the city, offering them a pardon if they help fight monsters. It's a room full of A-class heroes and dangerous convicts. The tension is high. Then, Garou walks in, reads the room, and decides he hates everyone equally. He just declares, "I'm the monster," and speed runs the entire room. He dismantles heavy hitters, dodges bullets, and breaks limbs with a smile on his face. This was our first look at the Hero Hunter, and he didn't use magical superpowers, just pure, unadulterated hands. He looked at the established hierarchy of the show and just laughed. We were high off that Mugen Train victory, right? Rengoku was winning, music was swelling, then bam! Akaza lands and the genre switches from shonen adventure to current objective, survive. He treated a life or death struggle for a Hashira like a light warm-up. He wasn't fighting to win, he was fighting because he was bored. That smile? Terrifying. He turned a victory lap into a funeral procession in minutes. It was downright heart-wrenchingly painful. It was a masterclass in demoralization. He turned a victory lap into a funeral procession in minutes.
Aと何秒だ？俺様が終着点だ。つまらねえな。
Ragna Crimson flies under the radar, but Walter Kamui's introduction is a masterclass in pure, unadulterated disrespect. We're told he's the second seat of the winged bloodline, so we expect him to be strong, but his entrance, he literally descends as a bolt of lightning that vaporizes an entire army before they can even process their own death. He moves so fast that the lightning sound effect happens after he's already decapped you. The true flex isn't just his speed, it's his durability. When he fights Ragna, he doesn't just dodge, he face tanks attacks that would level cities and laughs about it. He proved that he isn't just a dragon, he's a natural disaster that the plot itself struggles to kill. Oda introduced the strongest creature by having him try to off himself and fail. Jumping from a sky island only to stand up with a mild headache is the hardest flex in One Piece history. Kaido didn't need a monologue. His existence was the threat. He landed in front of 3 captains and sighed because he was bored. I mean, I got actual chills. He looked at the worst generation like they were ants at a picnic. It wasn't hype. It wasn't a warning label. Watching him shatter the supernovas without using haki felt illegal. It cemented him as an immovable object that the plot itself couldn't scratch. We spent years hearing horror stories about the Uchiha ghost. When Itachi finally returned to Konoha, he didn't blow up the gates, he just knocked. The terrifying part was his efficiency. Kurenai tries again jutsu. First of all, wrong move, girl. He reverses it without blinking. Kakashi, the copy ninja, tries to engage. Itachi traps Kakashi in Tsukuyomi, mentally torturing him for what felt like days in just a matter of seconds, leaving him hospitalized. He walked through the village's elite security like he owned the place, caused panic among shinobis, and then just left. It was a silent, surgical dismantling of everything we thought was strong. I realized then that the gap between Naruto and the top tier wasn't a river, it was an ocean. He was playing a different game entirely. Esdeath's introduction is a masterclass in dominance. She returns from war and we see a defeated prince literally licking her boots. It's twisted. Then she gets bored and freezes an entire insurgent army in a blink. She effortlessly freezes an entire army in seconds, executing them without hesitation. Most ice users build walls. She builds graveyards. She treats the concept of war like a casual shopping trip where everything is 100% off. It made the Night Rage struggle feel adorable by comparison. You look at her power, then you look at the protagonist's sword, and you just think, yeah, good luck with that, buddy. She was the definition of an unsurmountable wall.
もしや傲慢でありませんですかね。
お答えいただけないようですね。
ベテルギウス・ロマネ・コンティ
です。
さてさてさてさてさてさてさて、私の目を見るのです。
虫は寂しいですね。
お聞きするのですが、あなたの狂気は正気に過ぎる。滑稽なり。あなた怠惰ですね。
My brain, it trembles. The moment you hear that voice, you know sanity has left the chat. Betelgeuse wasn't scary because he was strong, though his invisible hands were lethal. He was scary because he was fundamentally broken. When you watch him twist his own neck, bite his fingers, and rant about love while slaughtering Rem, you're bound to be creeped out. You watch as a descent into madness. He introduced a chaotic, fanatical element that logic couldn't solve. He treated murder like a religious ceremony. It made me feel the same helplessness Subaru felt, trapped in a loop with a monster who couldn't be reasoned with, only survived. He was the embodiment of a nightmare that you just can't wake up from.
二人ともどうしたんですか？待ってください。
それ以上近づくな。
Rudius had a whole life of being the magical prodigy, the big fish in a small pond. Then he met Orsted, and the ocean swallowed him. Meeting the dragon god on that path was a reality check written in blood. He walked through the fire and punched a hole through the protagonist's chest with zero effort. It was a brutal reminder that in this world, Rudius was still an insect compared to the true monsters. It grounded the power scaling by showing us the ceiling was miles away.
くだらぬ。ソウルソサイティはこれから死ぬが。なんだ。終わりだな。
We waited years for the 1,000-year blood war, and Yhwach did not disappoint. He didn't start with a skirmish, he started with an apocalypse. He led the Quincy invasion of Soul Society, overwhelming the Gotei 13 and killing the head captain in a decisive and brutal assault. But Yhwach was colder. He vaporized his own men for bickering and stole the head captain's Bankai, the strongest weapon in history, before hacking him in half. He treated the Gotei 13 not as rivals, but as pests to be exterminated. "I am here to end the world," he said. And for the first time in Bleach, I actually believed the villain had already won.
だがな。
Andy is a fun, regenerating goofball who uses his fingers as bullets. But pull the card out of his head and you get Victor, the god of victory. The vibe shift is instant. Victor awakens and overwhelms multiple Union members effortlessly, demonstrating power far beyond Andy's usual limits, creating clones, regenerating from dust, and shrugging off their ultimate moves like they were parlor tricks. He radiates the energy of an ancient admin logging into a server to ban everyone. It showed us that Andy was holding back a monster that viewed the current generation of heroes as nothing more than noisy children. Arthur Boyle hits people with a literal plasma sword that cuts steel. Dragon took that hit to his bare chest and called it lukewarm. That's an illegal level of durability. In a show about fire, Dragon established that he was the Inferno. He tanked Arthur's plasma blade to the chest and crushed Excalibur with his bare hands. He forced the heroes to rethink physics because nothing they did scratched him. He wasn't a pyrokinetic, he was a walking natural disaster. Watching him tank attacks that destroy buildings made me wonder how they were ever supposed to be a guy who treats magma like a warm bath. The shadows were already creepy, but Shide was a glitch in reality. When Shide revealed his true shadow-enhanced form, armed and calculating, it became clear he wasn't just another enemy. The sound design alone, that digital glitchy noise, triggered my fight or flight. He slaughtered the capable cast in seconds, resetting the time loop with brutal efficiency. Shide didn't act like a beast, he acted like a gamer speed-running a murder level. The combination of modern weaponry and eldritch horror made him feel inescapable. He changed the stakes from a mystery to a frantic survival horror where death wasn't just possible, it was guaranteed.
君たちマナーは守ろうね。なんだこれ。
This is the creepiest introduction in modern shonen. No big explosions, no shouting, just a young guy sitting in a movie theater with 3 rude teenagers. He politely tells them to be quiet. When they don't, he touches them. The horror comes from the visual of their heads expanding and popping like balloons while the rest of the audience screams. Mahito just stands there, smiling with childlike wonder, examining his handiwork. It established immediately that curses aren't just monsters to be punched, they're manifestations of pure malice. He violated the sanctity of a public space and the laws of biology in 10 seconds flat. It was quiet, grotesque, and incredibly effective.